Rachel Leviss is slamming Ariana Madix yet again, calling her latest court motion frivolous. We also have Summer House that just began filming with Lindsay and Carl. They are both back for another season, and Rachel Leviss is now single and on the market again. So let's get ready for it. You're listening to No Filter with Zach Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up? Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome on in. Happy Tuesday. Today is going to be a short and sweet episode because I got to go and tape the pop report today. But on top of that, today is officially the launch of season 2 of Disaster Daters. So we have Tom Schwartz in the house. He is spilling all sorts of dish tea, life after divorce. So be sure to check out Disaster Daters with me and Jeff. Disaster Daters. Tom Schwartz is on the podcast today. We're talking about his biggest regrets from his marriage to Katie Maloney, moving in with Tom Sandoval, the internet thinking that he has a crush on Lala Kent. So you can check out an all-new episode or 2 new episodes of Disaster Daters, which was just dropped out now. Brian Paget says, love Disaster Daters. Y'all are the best. Have you listened to the 2 new episodes yet? They dropped this morning. At midnight, we had episode 1, and then first thing in the morning, we had episode 2 with Tom Schwartz. So you got 2 new episodes. Go listen to them. Leave us reviews. You can listen to the podcast on Apple, or you can listen and watch on Spotify. So definitely be sure to go and send some love. Disaster Daters, crazy stories. We read some of your stories, which you can still continue to send on in. How do I leave reviews? Where do I go? You can, Alyssa, you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. So if you have the app, if you have an iPhone and you have the Apple Podcast app, you can go and leave a 5-star rating and a review. And like I said, for everyone that leaves us reviews, whether it's No Filter, Disaster Daters, The Pop Report, or all 3, you can send me a screenshot of your reviews, and I'll be sure to enter you into a merch giveaway. I'm going to give away some merch this week. So I'll let you guys choose which of the merch items you want. And I'll make sure we get them sent out to you. Okay. Let's talk Vanderpump Rules. Oy, I am so sore. Anaconda says, do you think Lindsay is with child? I don't know. Those rumors have been floating around for a while. I did hear from 2 different sources that were seemingly credible sources that told me that they had known this information about Lindsay, but I also know Lindsay was denying it personally, and her team was denying it personally as well. So I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, you don't want speculation about whether or not you should comment on a woman's pregnancy announcement before they announce that they're pregnant. So I don't know. I guess time will tell if that is or isn't what happens. I'm assuming whether she is pregnant or not pregnant, she's probably going to address it on this new season of Summer House, which has now gone into production. Everybody's back. They are except for Danielle. Danielle's the only one that's not coming back this season, and they are expected to bring in a couple of fresh faces. So we'll see. We have Paige, we have Sierra. Oh yeah, because Sierra's already done filming the trailer. So we have Paige, we have Sierra, we have Lindsay, we have Carl, we have. Could you imagine if Lindsay really was the option for the traders, which I believe was the case. I believe it was supposed to be Lindsay and not Sierra. And for whatever reason, there was a switcheroo at the end. So now I would imagine Lindsay might be a little hostile towards Sierra or a little upset. I mean, the fact that Lindsay's even coming back and the fact that she doesn't have Danielle, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting season because I feel like nobody is on Team Lindsay. Like nobody's on Lindsay's side. So like, who is she coming into the house with? Who is her friend? I don't know. Did this rumor come from a blind about Lindsay being pregnant? I did not hear it from a blind. I heard it from 2 separate people. that had two separate instances that they experienced where they had overheard that Lindsay was pregnant. So, I don't know. That's just what I know. Different times, different days, different things that were overheard in conversations. And so, yeah, but that information did not come from a blind for me. I know there were blinds that were going out on the internet at that time as well. I just know I did not get my information from the blind items. So, Michelle says she has a history of pregnancy loss. Well, she's had one pregnancy loss in the past, yes. And Deb says might not be a big deal if she is pregnant and had to switch her schedule. Um, well, I heard that she was trying to conceal her pregnancy so that she could get on the traders, and then eventually she somehow didn't end up on the traders. And then I think that there was a blind item that Dorinda's the one that took it to production. That like Dorinda's like, but I heard Lindsay's pregnant. Is she able to do this? That was all a rumor. That was all speculation. I don't know. Jen says it came from a Dumois blind a la Danielle. Then it's probably true. Yeah, because we know Danielle likes to be up in them blinds. Okay, so that's Summer House. It'll be interesting to see Lindsay and Carl back together again, filming together. Ooh, it's going to be an interesting one. But let's talk Vanderpump Rules, shall we? Or is there... Oh, well, on the topic of Summer House, Paige and Hannah Berner have a book that's coming out. Whoop-diddy-doo. Good for them. So they have a book. It's called How to Giggle, obviously based off of their podcast, which is the Giggly Squad. They posted this and shared the caption. We wrote a book. This is not a bit. How to Giggle is available for pre-order now at the link in our bio. This book is our guide to taking life less seriously and is probably the most admin we will ever do. So the book's coming out soon. Let's see, when does the book actually launch? Let's check that out. I don't know if I actually want to read this for book club or not. I mean, it seems kind of fun, but it also just seems kind of silly. Like a table book, but I don't think it's going to be that deep. Okay, so it comes out, April 15th. Oh, next year. Literally a year from now. It doesn't come out until April 2025. Okay. From the wildly popular podcast Giggly Squad. Wow, this is presumptuous that they're still going to be friends in a year. Well, I don't know. A huge like fallout could actually help book sales. But also, like, why would you announce it a year from now and say that you wrote a book? Have you already written the book? That's so long. April 2025? Why are like announce it 3 months out or well, maybe 5 months out, but like almost a year? That's crazy. Best friends Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo share hilariously heartwarming advice on how to take life a little bit less seriously. Finding joy and laughter in the mundane can be challenging at times, but Hannah Berner and Paige DeSorbo have mastered the art of not taking life too seriously. Well, no shit. All Paige does is sit in a damn bed all day, not marry the man that's in love with her. Brought together under the bright lights of reality television, these best friends bonded in incredibly intense circumstances. They quickly came to realize that one of the bedrocks of their friendship is spending time in bed together, is their shared experience with social anxiety. Oh God, everybody has fucking social anxiety. I'm socially... As their friendship deepened, they found themselves constantly devolving into laughter, earning the nickname the Giggly Squad. With that, their superpower at laughing through life's hardest moments. Wow, what a groundbreaking novel concept, laughing when life gets hard. Their podcast, Giggly Squad, feels like calling your best friend for a long overdue catch up. No topic is off limits, no subject is too small, and most importantly, nothing is so serious that you can't find a way to make it seem less scary by poking fun at it. How to Giggle covers topics like overcoming awkward situations. You just move on from them. Red flags in female friendships and romantic relationships. Maybe you're the problem. Using delusion and manifestation to achieve your goals. Groundbreaking. Decentering men from your life. Well, Paige is good at that. And more. Sprinkled with inside jokes, Hannah and Paige's riotous humor How to Giggle feels like you're at a slumber party with your best friends giving you juicy advice on sex, flirting, and social etiquette. You'll find the nostalgia of your teen magazines with fun, interactive quizzes and tips like finding your personal style and wellness hacks. If you're a longtime giggler or are simply craving some unfiltered advice to get you through the hard times, look no further than How to Giggle. This actually sounds like a cute book. I mean, it doesn't sound like the advice is deep, but I like that they have like the polls and it like kind of feels like a Cosmo magazine. Cute, you know? Cute. Is Hannah Berner still married? Is or was Hannah Berner still married or did she get divorced? Married in May 2022. Really supportive in their marriage and podcast. Wow, so they're still together. They I just don't hear her talk about Des very much. Okay. Good for her. Wow. Okay. That's Summer House. Let's talk Vanderpump Rules. So Rachel Leviss, obviously we know she's suing Tom Sandoval, suing Ariana Madix, and now she is clapping back at Ariana because Ariana wanted to have the lawsuit. She wanted to have the lawsuit dismissed because she first gave an anti-slap. Ryan Bailey gave you a shout out in a recent podcast. He was raving about how funny you are. Oh, Danny Gossip Girl. Danny Gossip Girl is really funny. Shout out to Danny Gossip Girl. Okay. So let's get into. So Ariana was trying to get. She filed an anti-slap motion, which let's read what anti-slap law is here in California. So anti-slap law protects people and businesses from meritless lawsuits that limit their free speech or petitioning rights. The law allows defendants to file a special motion to strike a complaint that arises from these activities. The court must hear the motion within 30 days unless the docket is too busy. If the court grants the motion, it must order the plaintiff to pay attorney's fees and costs. The defendant may also file a slap back lawsuit against the plaintiff to recover damages for abuse of the legal process. Both parties can appeal the court's decision. Okay. So, yeah. I know Erica filed an anti-slap law or anti-slap motion in the Marco case, which is yet to be heard. So, well, I believe her motion to dismiss was denied, so the trial will be moving forward, but we'll see how it all plays out in court. But when it comes to Rachel, so Ariana wanted to have the lawsuit dismissed. She filed her motion, and Rachel is now responding to it and clapping back. So according to In Touch Weekly, this is what Rachel's attorney had to say. Indeed, the conduct at issue is not Madix's exercise of free speech, but instead her unlawful theft and distribution of sexually explicit videos of Rachel. Although Madix attempts to recast the lawsuit as an attack on her right to speak freely on matters of public concern, it is no such thing. Because that was Ariana's defense. She's like, well, we're on a reality show. We're public figures. The affair was something that was happening between two public reality stars that share their lives and their personal lives, not only on a TV show, but also Rachel has a podcast. Rachel does interviews. Rachel refers to herself as a public figure. And it's interesting because then even Ariana's attorney like outlined, it was a very, very good argument. Rachel's, Rocky, thank you, Endeb. She now goes by Rocky. Ariana's case against Rocky is actually it was a solid one. They're like, here are all the timestamps from podcast episodes and all of these times when Rachel herself refers to herself as a public figure. So obviously there's going to be a public interest in this affair that she was having with another public figure, Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix, who are all on reality TV and share their lives and their relationships and their personal lives on the internet, but also on television for the whole world to see. And obviously there's public interest there, right? So that was Ariana's argument, which the attorney is now saying, no, that's not the case. This isn't a matter of public concern, and nobody's trying to limit Ariana's ability to speak freely on matters of public concern. So the Rachel Rocky's attorney continues with Maddox does not have a free speech right to break into the phone of her boyfriend and siphon away non consensual pornographic materials, nor does she have a right to disseminate such material to menace and terrorize. If all Maddox did wrong was angrily confront Rachel for betraying her trust or publicly discuss her discovery of Tom's affair, she would not be a defendant in this lawsuit. But that is not what is the issue. Her actions went well beyond protected speech, and her anger, however understandable, provides no legal cover for lashing out at plaintiff in violation of criminal laws. So he's saying, one, this isn't about Ariana's ability to speak on these matters, and whether or not they're for public concern is neither here nor there. But they're accusing Ariana of breaking into Tom Sandoval's phone and stealing non-consensual pornographic materials. Now, did she break into Tom Sandoval's phone? I believe she made this argument that she did not break into Tom Sandoval's phone because he didn't have an expectation of privacy because they had shared their passwords with each other. So they had open, free access to each other's devices. So it's not an unreasonable or ludicrous idea that somebody that has access to a partner's. I think when I described this last time, is I said like it's like giving somebody the key to your apartment, right? When you're dating somebody and maybe they don't live with you, but you guys are in a relationship and you give them the key to your apartment, they are essentially welcome to go into the apartment at any time. You've given them the key. So the door is then open and you're able to enter should you want to, because the expectation is there is no privacy in that because you gave them a key with access to the front door. So it's kind of the argument. So I don't think Ariana broke into Tom Sandoval's phone. She didn't crack the code and get in there without his permission. He gave her permission to be in his phone by giving her the password. And then to siphon away non-consensual pornographic materials and disseminate the material to menace and terrorize. I don't think she was trying to menace or terrorize Rachel as much as she was trying to say, gotcha, bitch. Look at what you did. Gotcha. So I believe that was her angrily confronting Rachel, which is what the attorneys say is not what she did. She betrayed trust and publicly was sharing these materials, which again, we have no proof of, except for the fact that it went from Tom's phone to Rachel's phone through Ariana's phone. Rachel, so she also, I think, talks about Tom Sandoval. She says, Sandoval never asked my permission to record these videos. I was not aware that he was doing so. Had he asked, I would have said no. If I had known that he had done so anyway, I would have been furious and demanded that he delete them, which he ultimately did. Under no circumstances would I have consented to being recorded naked and masturbating. Got it. I knew that she had somehow taken possession of them, referring to Ariana. I knew that she had somehow taken possession of them. This made an already difficult situation decidedly worse. From the tone and tenor of Maddox's messages, it was clear that she was furiously angry. Given the circumstances, I was not surprised at her anger, but I was extremely alarmed and fearful about her intentions given the course of conduct that she had evidently embarked on. So here's the thing. Being surprised and extremely alarmed and fearful are absolutely valid things to feel in that moment. But when it's a year later and you file on the final day of the statute of limitations, you are no longer extremely alarmed or fearful about Ariana's intentions. Why? Because you already sent Ariana a cease and desist letter, and she's already made it clear that the pornographic content has been deleted. It has been discarded. She's no longer in possession of it. So she has made it clear that she no longer has this material and has made it clear that she has no intention of doing anything with this material. So it's great that she was angry and extremely alarmed and fearful about Ariana's intentions a year ago, but those intentions are no longer valid because time has gone on and we've already addressed the subject multiple times in the press. So Rachel continues, it's not just that Maddox had discovered the recordings and confronted me about their contents. If that were all that happened, Maddox would not have been named in this lawsuit. But that is not all that happened. In her own sworn testimony, Maddox acknowledges that she stole and disseminated them. She distributed the recordings from the original source on Sandoval's phone to herself and to me at minimum. Okay. This is the very reason I believe that she showed the recordings to others and may have sent them to others as well. It is undisputed, however, that it is the result of Maddox's actions. The circle of possession widened from Sandoval alone to Sandoval, Maddox, and me. So that's basically what she's saying is the revenge porn piece, is that it was shared from Tom Sandoval's phone to Ariana's phone to Rachel's phone. But again, there was no other. And so she's saying that because of this, she knows at a minimum there were 3 people that saw this content. So there's a good chance that others may have seen this content, even though Ariana has denied that. And I'm just like, um, exit this side says, wouldn't Ariana breaking into Tom's phone be something Tom would have to sue about? Why is that even something Rachel can bring up? She's just trying to make her argument. But I agree. If there was an issue with Ariana breaking into Tom Sandoval's phone, then guess what? The person to sue is Tom Sandoval saying, hey, you invaded my privacy. You were eavesdropping, or whatever the case he wants to make the case about. That would be the situation. That is not the situation, because Tom's like, no, he's not going to sue Ariana. Can you really distribute to someone who is in the video? That's the thing, is it's like, that's what Rachel's trying to argue, is that it moved from one device to the next device to, it was shared on 3 different devices, Tom's, Ariana's, and Rachel's. So it's like, well, you know, is wrong, yes, but is that unreasonable for somebody to have a large emotional reaction when they find out that there was an affair? It was, Ariana's actions were reasonable. They were emotional, right? And they were heavily charged in the moment, but it's not like crazy that this is what was happening. I don't know. It makes my head spin, to be honest. Brent says Rachel needs to reconcile with the fact that no one gives a shit about her in the context of reality TV. Stop stewing for relevance. That kind of is what it's starting to feel like. Because it's what are you arguing for? What is the point? What is your fear? That the videos are going to be distributed? The videos have been discarded. What is your fear? That somebody already saw the videos? Then they've already been seen. It's done. What is that person going to do? The videos are not going to get leaked anywhere. That's the point. I'm like, what do you want? You just want money? You just want to stay relevant? I'm genuinely confused as to what Rachel is hoping to accomplish in all of this, aside from getting some cash. Ariana, however, did make some very strong arguments and some strong points, and I don't think that the lawsuit is going to be pursued. The judge has yet to make a decision, but I would imagine the judge is going to dismiss Ariana from the lawsuit because it's ridiculous at this point. Nobody saw it, you know? So for Rachel's attorney to come out and say that it's frivolous of Ariana to want to be dismissed from this lawsuit, well, no, it's not frivolous. The lawsuit itself is frivolous. Janice says, if Rocky is trying to move on and heal, why does she not move on to help improve her own mental health? I've said that a million times. Same thing with the podcast. Exit this side says it was Tom's actions of recording the video that caused Rachel harm. Full stop. But also, what harm was Rachel caused? That's the other thing for me, is it's like, but what was the harm? She still participated in this. She's still engaged in this. Yes, it's what exposed her affair, but she was still having an affair. So I'm trying to understand, what is the damage that was done? Because I feel like the damage was done as a result of her sharing her life on reality TV and then getting in a very public affair. The affair is what ruined her relationship, right? The affair is what ended things. She left her job. She did leave her job. She left her job. On her own accord. They didn't give her enough money. So she was like, I'm going to protect my mental health. She didn't lose her job as a result of the video, nor did she lose her job as a result of the affair. She lost her job because she walked away. She says for her own mental health, but she also pitched the network on more money, and then I think she wanted a spin-off show or a development deal as a result of it. That's what was reported also. Michelle says she's trying to pay off her spa bills. Well, that's the other thing, 'cause at first I was like, well, she can probably fight them for damages, saying that the Meadows, that bill, they should have to pay for it because she went to the Meadows as a result of all of this because it took a toll on her mental health. So that could have been damages that she argued for. However, it was brought up recently that she said prior to going, or I think it was on Bethany's podcast, where she admitted that she was already planning on going into the Meadows regardless. That was a plan that she was hoping to do. That the video leak was not why she chose to go into the Meadows. So she's already admitted that the affair and Tom and Ariana, that those were not the reasons that she went into the Meadows. That she always had this plan to go, and I think she wanted to go, like, earlier and then decided to wait and then wanted to do the reunion and all that stuff. Joe says, "On the real, she's the real reason for her harm. She sucks at being a pageant queen." Oh, Joe, that is okay. Kat says, "The harm of being recorded without your permission, that's extremely traumatizing. Again, having an affair is not that serious." Fair, like, being recorded without your permission, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like, I get it that that is, I mean, I feel like traumatizing is a extremely traumatizing. Like, that's a very strong term. Um, because it's not like I would understand if it were it being traumatizing if you are in a locker and you're changing by yourself. You're um, you know, not expecting anybody to see you in that state, right? I would understand if somebody was secretly recording you for months on end and it happened to be somebody that you trusted. That's a violation. That's extremely traumatizing to know that somebody was watching you, because then it also puts your safety into jeopardy, right? Because it's like, oh my God, somebody was watching me while I was changing and they were recording me. And what were they doing with these images? That I can imagine is extremely traumatizing. Being recorded without your permission. Yes, Kat, there's harm that comes with that. Go doing naughty FaceTimes where you're masturbating on FaceTime with your boyfriend that you're having an affair with, it's a little different, you know? Same thing as, like, if you're sending naughty photos to people and then those photos happen to get leaked, it's a little different from somebody taking photos of you without your permission when you expect to be, not seen in that way. She consented and gave Tom Sandoval permission to see her as she was rubbing one out on FaceTime. Now, I don't agree with Tom Sandoval recording them and saving him for his bank. I think what he did is gross. It's perverted for sure, but extremely traumatizing. To the point where she needs to wait an entire year and not file criminal charges, but file a civil lawsuit to get money out of them. I don't know if I believe that she's extremely traumatized by the experience of Tom recording those, whatever. I just don't. Mallory says Rachel really thinks she's doing something with the lawsuit, like she's taking a stand as the mistress for. Wait, did you guys see the oh God, this is what I've tried with Rachel so many times. She posted a podcast episode where she talks about how, shit, let me see if I can find it because I tweeted it out. She basically does this video, or does an episode where, and there's a clip that was circulating on social media where she talks about how, she's the mistress, yes, but like that happens. Things happen. Like you get into affairs and like life happens. And she's grateful that she had an opportunity to be on television to represent women that happen to be mistresses, right? She's like, I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to be a representation of something that happens in real life. And I'm just like, are you really saying that you were grateful for the opportunity to be on reality television to represent being the other woman? And she talks about that and she uses the term the other woman. And I was like, that's, a choice. What else did she say? Hold on, let me pull up the clip because I was like, it was jarring. I was like, is this really what's coming out of her mouth? Like she's saying these words and trying to justify this? It was just so Oh, here it is. She went from owning the fact that she's the other woman to being grateful for the fact that she can be relatable on TV to other women as being the other woman. And then she closes her thoughts out by saying that she wishes she would have gotten more support for being the other woman. Let me see if I can play the.
Is a shameful thing, but it's a thing that happens. And if you can own that and share that and be
It's a
that
thing that
for
happens.
somebody else to relate to on their television screen, that's everything that I want. But I didn't feel supported in the way that I deserve to be supported.
What? Okay. She's the other woman. She's glad that she gets to represent that for other women on television because it happens. You just happen to fall on your best friend's boyfriend's dick. You know, it just happens like an oopsie whoopsie, you know, like oops, I didn't know I was pregnant and I had a baby in a toilet. Like it's just, you know, some big oopsie whoopsie to her. Like life happens, you know. It's just like what? And then she's like, but I'm mad that I wasn't supported more. Supported for what? Be the other woman. Like I don't understand. You fucked up and you want to be supported for fucking up? Like I don't get it. Brian says she should start an OnlyFans and capitalize on infamy. I mean, that's it. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a great idea. The word trauma is being thrown around a lot. Everything isn't trauma. Exactly. Traumatizing is an overused term. Rachel should look it up. Exactly. Thank you. I'm glad people are actually on the side of logic with here. People use the word trauma and traumatizing so often. And that's not to say that there aren't experiences that are troubling or experiences that are difficult or uncomfortable, but being difficult and being uncomfortable are not the same thing as experiencing trauma. Let's make that very clear because so many people want to be like, traumatizing. I'm so traumatized. I had childhood trauma. Maybe you had a difficult childhood. A difficult childhood doesn't necessarily mean that you have childhood trauma. You know, that's like saying, oh, I slipped and fell and cut my knee. That's different from trauma of injuring your knee, right? There's a different level of impact. There's a different level of injury. And so many people are like, oh my God, I tripped and I scraped my knee. Oh, my knee suffered trauma. And now I need to go into physical therapy because there's trauma to the skin of my knee because it's scratched and it was bleeding. Trauma. Bullshit is what I call it. It's not trauma. It's bullshit. It's too many people making themselves out to be the most important. It's main character energy 24/7 and everybody's a fucking victim. No, yes, you are victims in certain circumstances, but not in every little instance of your life. People walk out the door and someone doesn't speak to them or doesn't hold the door open for them, just like, that person's a narcissist. And now I have trauma because the man didn't hold the door open for me. And now I feel neglected by men. And this is related to my abandonment issues from my dad who didn't buy me a lollipop when I went to Disneyland that one time. It's ridiculous. Kat says, if someone recorded me masturbating, I would literally be in a deep depression. Then why would you be masturbating on camera? Like, accountability matters, you guys. Like, the actions that you take. If I am jerking off to a dude on FaceTime, I know that I'm putting my own naughty image out onto a screen where there's Wi Fi and there are potentials of hacks and there can be screen recordings. You put yourself in that environment where you know, hey, some shit could go down. It's different if I'm in my room by myself and nobody's around and the windows are closed and somebody somehow slips a camera in there and is filming me and I'm under the impression that nobody can see this and it's just me in an intimate moment. Very different circumstances. I don't think I would be in a deep depression if I was jerking off on FaceTime and somebody recorded that. Trust me, I've had guys do really inappropriate things and take advantage of me in really inappropriate ways. I don't consider those traumatizing experiences. I wouldn't fall into a deep depression over them. Listen, I'm not trying to negate or take away your experience, Kat, but I'm just like, nuance matters. Mallory says Rachel's parents wanted to go after the fallout with James, and then they stayed on the show and drank a shit ton and made terrible selfish decisions. Yeah. She participated in the recordings. That's right. And Deb, she participated in that, knowing that she was on a FaceTime video. Same thing as if you take a naughty photo and send it to somebody, there's a good chance that that could get out there. Somebody's phone could get hacked. Like, there's just that level of awareness. Again, what Tom did was gross, but, you know, we can't tell Rachel what she can feel when she can feel traumatized. She may be over exaggerating in our eyes, but she can feel the way she feels. Everybody's entitled to feel the way that they feel. That doesn't mean that it's an objective, you know, you can still be I can feel like, like I said, if I walk out the door and a man ahead of me doesn't hold the door open for me, I can feel like it's a personal attack on me. And I can be like, you know what? He must have known that I was gay. And therefore, I feel like it's homophobic. And therefore, I hate men because this man that I'm assuming is straight is, not holding the door open for me. And that's wrong. And he must be homophobic. And I feel so hurt and attacked by the male community. I can feel that. Doesn't make it a real fucking situation. You could feel whatever you want to feel. She felt lots of things on that FaceTime. She was feeling herself. When you are on a video call, you never know who's watching. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of technology in today's world. Marianne Stout says it's called consequences for your actions. I agree. Joe says maybe Rachel should do explicit things on FaceTime. Shouldn't. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just like the knots that people try to twist themselves into to defend this. It's like trust me, I've tried. I've tried to squint my eyes and tilt my head and look up Rachel's coochie and be like, okay, where is this coming from? How am I want to understand your angle here. I want to have some empathy for you, but then it just continues to not make sense. And Deb says she could have just spent her time doing interviews, dragging the cast, and moving forward, making just as much money for paid interviews, probably getting more publicity doing it. Yeah, lean into the villain. Do House of Villains, Ooh, excuse me. Brian says she deserved to be supported. That's what she said. I don't know what therapist she's talking to, but the fact that she's like, I should deserve to be supported for being the other woman because, hey, it happens. Like, what? No. No, it doesn't just happen. You made decisions, That's like saying, you know what? I beat somebody up. It happens. There's 4 people should have empathy for me because I lost my temper and beat somebody up. I mean, obviously there are different scenarios where maybe it's self-defense or maybe somebody hurt somebody you loved and you reacted impulsively in the moment. Yes, context matters, but in this instance, I feel like morality is, interesting. Yeah. Stupid, sorry, I'm not calling them stupid. This is their screen name. Says nothing wrong with forgiving people's mistakes, but supporting them is a reach. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Forgiving people is one thing. Understanding their circumstances is one thing. Supporting them is a little bit different. Saying that I should be supported as a role model for mistresses everywhere is a bit of a stretch. Michelle says, start an OnlyFans and share the finger blasting video. At this point, might as well. She can't talk. She talks about it more than anybody else. Brian says her level of trauma was suing Sheena and accusing her of battery when that clearly didn't happen. Thank you. See, so being litigious is not something that's foreign to her. Yeah, I forgot about the Sheena restraining order. So she could have totally done something to Tom or done something to Ariana, but waited until the final day of the statute of limitations. I question the motive. Ergopai says, yes, everyone's saying that they have trauma and ADHD and autism without being diagnosed is weird. I have diagnosed PTSD from childhood in a relationship and don't like my actions are, and don't like saying that my actions are because of that. Well, see, yes, that's fair. That's my point. It's there are instances where that is the reality. I don't believe that to be the reality of her being traumatized, Okay, and Deb made a great point. She said, if I were Rachel, I'd be embarrassed, but not traumatized. Yeah, I would be embarrassed too, right? But also, these images were never made public. And here's the other thing. Whether the video existed or didn't exist or whatever, it could have very easily come out at some point that she was rubbing one out on FaceTime. She said that she was sleeping with Tom in Ariana's bed while Ariana was at her grandmother's funeral. She admitted that at the reunion. Remember, in the last 5 minutes, she admitted that. So I don't know. That to me sounds just as bad and embarrassing and traumatizing for the world to know as rubbing one out on FaceTime. We already knew that you were having sex with Tom Sandoval. I think it's worse that you admit that you did it in her bed while she was at her grandmother's funeral. To me, that's a little bit worse. You should feel a little more traumatized about those actions. Where's Ariana's accountability for letting the world bully Rachel online for what? Betraying her? When did it become Ariana's responsibility to what? Why does Ariana have a responsibility to protect Rachel, the mistress that was lying to her face? Where was Ariana's account? Why is Ariana accountable for what the internet does? You know who should be accountable for the fucking internet? The people that are on the fucking internet. If you're out there sending hate towards people, you should be accountable for your own words and actions. We already had this conversation when I talked about Lala. The twisting of ourselves is. I'm honestly being myself. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying you to defend it. I think what Rachel did was that wrong. Okay. Why doesn't her lawyer tell her to shut her bio? I don't know. I don't know. People are not their diagnoses. Absolutely. That's right, Ndeb. Mallory says, Rachel did 1,000 horrible decisions, and the FaceTime video is the least embarrassing. Exactly. That's my point. But that's what we're going to get litigious over. Brittany says, I mean, here we are talking about it, so it's working in her favor, but I'm worried about Vanderpump Rules being on pause. Bravo makes this mistake with too many shows. We'll see. Maybe they're waiting for the lawsuit to get dismissed. That way, Tom and Ariana aren't actively enthralled in this legal mess. That way, we can officially move on from all of Scandival. But we'll see. Common Sensei says mental health doesn't make you a victim. It's your responsibility to do the work, not society's issues. I agree. Rachel, yeah. Also, speaking of Rachel, she and her boyfriend, remember she had that cute boyfriend. What was his name? Shit. I forgot his name. He was that hunky dude. Remember? Matthew Dunn. Remember he was a hunk. I think I still have photos of him here, don't I? He was a hunk of burning love. He was a cutie. Oh yeah, we do have photos of him. Oh no, wait, that's Monica's man. Monica's man has got it going on. And Monica's still with her man, even though she lost her baby. Monica from Salt Lake City. She had a miscarriage, but she's still with the man. But Rachel was with Matthew Dunn, and now they're done because obviously the internet found out that they were dating. She says that they were only dating for like a month at that point, so it was still new to the relationship, and she asked him not to post any photos of the two of them together on social media. He posted like a couple of photos of them on social media, and then she was really upset about that, so then she broke up with him. So for being somebody that likes a lot of attention, I was surprised that she was upset about that, and that's what she claims, that she dumped him because of that. So there we go. All right, that's what I got for you. I'm already late. I have to run out and run to the studio to go tape the pop report. So I'll see you guys later. 2 new episodes of Disaster Daters are out right now. Tom Schwartz, my interview with Tom Schwartz is out now on Disaster Daters. So you can go tune into that. There are 2 new episodes out right now to celebrate the launch of season 2 of Disaster Daters. So go check it out. Also, there'll be 2 new episodes of the Pop Report Wednesday and Friday of this week. I'm going to go tape it right now. So get ready, Freddie. I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you guys want to enter to win some free merch, then be sure to leave a review. You have 3 chances to enter. You can leave a review for the Pop Report, for No Filter, and for Disaster Daters. Just be sure to screenshot them and send them to me in the DMs. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Be sure to check out Disaster Daters. Go tune in right now. If you're listening to this or watching this, you obviously already know how to access podcasts. So go check out Disaster Daters and the Pop Report. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you again Wednesday morning, Thursday. and Thursday morning. We won't have our evening members only on Thursday because it's 4th of July. So I figured people will be busy. So we'll move it to Friday instead. But woo, woo. Happy 4th of July week. Happy 2nd of July. I'll talk to you later. I got to get a coffee. I'm tired. I'm already falling asleep. And it's only not even 8:30 a.m. All right. Ciao for now, guys. Love you, mean it. Bye.